Hello guys. Have you ever seen most Africans or most black people? We Africans, we love going to deliverance. You find people say, I want to go and deliver and get delivered. My family is in bondage. I have generational curses. These things we are hearing mostly coming from us Africans. Africans, they love churches. Even there was an issue that they say that Africa, we have built so many churches instead of building industries. Instead of us investing in industries, we are investing in churches. And somebody brought up an issue that in Africa, somebody will buy an industry and turn it into a church. Will buy a factory and turn it into a church where people will come and worship, to pray God to give them a job. Now, this issue has been a very hot topic, and today we're going to tackle it. Why do most Africans seek deliverance? And when I say Africans, not only Africans, even the people in the Latin America, like Brazil, South Americans, they also seek deliverance. Why is it so? Is there a problem? It seems like Europeans don't want deliverance. It seems like in America people are okay, but why? What's the problem with Africans? Why are they seeking deliverance all the time? Is there a problem? This video is about this topic. Hello guys, thanks for watching. I'm Cleophas Wanyama Ministries. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're watching me for the first time. In this channel we talk about the deep things of God in Christ Jesus. And if you want to donate to my ministry, use the information in the description box or at the comment section which I've pinned below. Now, it's raining outside, so I hope you are getting me clear. If you don't, please bear with me because of the rains. The devil is a liar. The moment I just put my camera and my mic, I want to talk to you, boom, the rain comes. And if I say I wait for the rain, I don't know when it will stop. Now, why do most Africans seek deliverance? So people are mocking us. You Africans, you are not civilized, you are backwards. Instead of you working, you're going to seek for prayers. Prayers won't change you. But today, I'm going to give you an answer. Why we Africans seek deliverance. And when you see people seeking deliverance, they're not stupid. They know what they're going through. They know the pains which they're going through. We are intelligent people. And people who seek deliverance are not that, are not just poor people. The people who are rich. People who have all that they need in life. But still, they know there's something wrong somewhere. And they have done all they can. They have gone for counseling, they have gone for therapy, they have gone for medical, they have searched everything and they have never found solution. And they have realized this thing has a spiritual hand. And this is why you find most Africans, we Africans, even in South America, we seek deliverance. Why is it so? Number one, I want to tell you something. In people like Americans and Europeans, they got the gospel many years before us. They also went through their deliverance centuries ago. Because Jesus came in Israel. And when he went, he said, go you to the ends of the world and preach the gospel. So the apostles traveled, and that's how the gospel began to spread over years, centuries and centuries. So it reached America, it reached England. And let me tell you something, the nations which accepted Christianity, the nations which they accepted the preaching of the Lord Jesus Christ, there is where you find that their economy grew. Why? How did we get Christianity? Through the British people. Through the British missionaries who came to preach the gospel, and then they took the news to their country, tell them that, oh guys, there are minerals in this nation. This nation, they're like this and this and this, and they came and they colonized us. Okay, that's a story for another day. But they are the ones who brought us the gospel. And I like to dispute this issue that people say that this is a white man's religion. There's nothing like a white man's religion. Jesus would not come, God will not come to the whole world at once. He chose a nation. He chose Israel. Now through Israel, all the nations will get to know him through one nation. Even when God wanted to create the entire human race, he used Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. Through Adam and Eve, they multiplied. Until we were born. Understand? So God chose Israel, and from Israel it grew from nation to nation until it reached us. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, some nations received the gospel before us. And they were transformed, they were delivered, they went through the deliverance processes. Because before the gospel came, people were worshiping idols. People were worshiping many strange gods. And by worshiping strange gods, there are covenants which tie you to those gods. Understand? Now, when you accept Jesus Christ and then you deny those strange gods, those covenants, they begin to attack you. And so you find generational curses, find many things begin to happen to you because you have broken the covenants which you had made with the strange gods, which your forefathers made. But now, people, guys like in America, in Europe, they received the gospel many, many years ago. They were delivered many years ago. For instance, America is 400 years old. It's more than 400 years old. Most of African nations, they're not even 100 years old. That means, and we're told that the founding fathers of America were Christians. They founded America based on Christian principles. So imagine a nation founded based on Christian principles like 400 years ago cannot be compared with us who received Jesus just like 50 years ago or 100 years ago. If you trace your lineage back, you'll find that your grandfather was either a witch doctor or somebody who worshipped idols. Christianity just came, maybe it was your parents who received Christianity. In your family lineage, you can just trace your grandfather or the father of your grandfather was somebody who never had the gospel. We just got the gospel just the other day. So we were in witchcraft. We were worshipping strange gods, and worshipping of strange gods is witchcraft. We were worshipping strange gods. We were sacrificing. We were into deep satanic cultic worship. We had entered covenant with gods for protection, for prosperity, for everything, for many things. Now, when Christianity came now, and we abandoned these gods now, those covenants are fighting. Anytime you attack the devil, the devil also tries to fight back. There's a counterattack. I can give you an example. If you have ever seen deliverance taking place, maybe you've seen it in Prophet TB Joshua doing deliverance or Prophet Kakande doing deliverance. You may find a man, a very good gentleman, standing with a suit, but the moment they lay hands on him, he begins to manifest and starts to misbehave, talking things which they don't make sense. He may start even shouting, fighting. And minutes before, he was a gentleman. What happened when the power of God comes upon a person who had a familiar spirits? It burns that spirit, and then there is a reaction. Now, the same way, the moment we received Christianity in Africa, most of us began to give our lives to Christ. We got born again. Now, we tampered with the altars which our forefathers had raised. We tampered with the covenants which our ancestors had made. Those are the covenants which are fighting you. They are fighting your family. That's why in Africa, we find people they are disturbed by altars. Families are tormented by altars. They can't get married. They can't be financially stable. Nothing is working for them. Those are altars. Altars from the bloodline, from your father's household, or from your mother's household. They tend to be very, very strong. Very, very strong. Because they come from the bloodline. Now, we find guys in America, they accepted Christ long ago, over 400 years ago. That's when you find even somebody in America who doesn't claim to be a Christian. If you check very well, his great-grandfather was maybe a preacher. Understand? Maybe his great-grandfather was somebody who used to be a dedicated Christian. It's just because of advancement. There's a problem also. When you listen, we see this in the Bible. When Israelites were down, they cried to God. God came into their help. God helped them. God lifted them. God promoted them. But the moment they started to enjoy plenty and abundance, they rebelled against God. They go back into their sinful ways. It's the same way with nations like the American, the Americans and the Europe. Those people were Christians before. Were Christians. They're the ones who brought us Christianity. They served God diligently. But now, when you serve God, God blesses you. God lifts you. God promotes you. And then their children, they tend to forget. They take things for granted. They don't know how they reach to that point. They don't know the sacrifices which their forefathers made. They don't know that their forefathers used to pray. They don't know their forefathers used to fast, used to give tithe. But now they are born, they found everything is okay. So they just think, no, it's because of hard work, or, yeah, we are just ahead. No. The people, these nations you call that they are civilized, they began as Christian nations. They began with God. Europe, America, those were the nations which had, revival those days. But now, because God, when you serve God, God lifts you, God promotes you, you become rich, you enjoy wealth, and then you forget. Now, this is the problem we have with America. They have forgotten where God has brought them from. And I may not even blame them sometimes. It's not them, but the children. The children's children, they don't know what God did to their forefathers. They don't know, they have no clue. So they take things for granted. They downplay Christianity. But now, for us, we just got salvation the other day. We just received Christianity like 100 years ago. We are still dealing with them. That's why if we find Africa is still in the process of deliverance. Africa, be it North America, South America. No, not North America, South America. The Latin America, where we have the Latinos, the Brazils, the Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, Mexico. These are nations which are now receiving Christ like us. That's why we find in Africa we have so much revival. And years to come, Africa will become great. Years to come, these nations in South America, they will become great, just like the Americans. Just like the Europeans. It is God who brought them there, but they forgot. Their children's children forgot. They don't know what God did to their forefathers. That's why they don't play Christianity. So this is why Africa, we go for deliverance. We just received Christ the other day. We still have altars from our bloodline which are attacking people. Altars attack pastors. Altars attack men of God. Altars attack families. Altars attack ministries. Altars are no respecter of persons. They will hit you when they have the opportunity to hit you. So you find Africa, we're in the process of deliverance. God, yes, we have received the gospel. Yes, we know Jesus said, but we find there are still issues, foundational issues, which God is still delivering us from. This way you find there's a lot of deliverance in Africa. People are going for deliverance. It's a process you are going through. And do not let anybody stop you from getting deliverance. Don't say, oh, the Americans, they don't have churches and they're okay. Do you know where they came from? They got the independence 400 years ago. 400, where were you 400 years? Where was Africa 400 years ago? You are still putting on skin. You are still walking naked. 400 years ago. That's a long time. That's when America became a nation. 400 years. Africa, there is no nation, I'm not sure, which is even 100 years old since independence. Since they got the civilization together. But America is 400 years old. And during that time, they had received Christianity. They were teaching, they were preaching the gospel 400 years ago. So they went through their processes, their deliverance, like the way we are going through it right now. It's a process. Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through it. So it's not that we are cursed. No, we are not cursed. We just got the gospel a bit late. It's true, Africans, we received the gospel a bit late compared with the Europeans and the Americans. Because the gospel came to us through the Americans and the Europeans. Through missionary work. That's why they came and even brought, the ones who brought the colonialists to come and colonize us. It was through The preaching of the gospel. The Portuguese, they came to preach the gospel. So they had received Christ many years ago, and God blessed them, and God increased them. They got civilization. But Africa, we are not yet aware of Christianity. We are still in playing our drums, sacrificing to idols, worshipping strange gods. But now Christianity came. We have accepted Christianity, but now we are going through Africa is going through the process of deliverance. And God is still working on us. And we are coming out strong to become one of the superpower continents on the face of the earth. Watch this. So don't say that we Africans will go for deliverance because we are not stupid. We are not stupid. We know what we are dealing with. You also went through that process. You people in America and Europe, you went through that process. That's why you are where you are. You went through that process. Okay, you may say China. China, there's no religion. China, there's no religion. There's no Christianity. Yes, it's true. There's no Christianity, and it is developed for one reason or another. But let me tell you something. The moment China opens its door, or Saudi Arabia open its door for Christianity, and we see the move of God in China, you'll see the same things happening. Deliverance happening. You'll see they'll go through the same thing. Listen, there are people in China who are seeking deliverance. There are people who are tormented by spirits in China. Chinese are also looking for deliverance. Chinese people, they're out there looking for deliverance. It's not an African thing. Yes, the nation has prospered in one way or another. And I know the reason why China is prospering. And it's not because of God. It's not because of God. Egypt prospered in the days of the Bible, but it wasn't God. Egypt was a center of witchcraft. Egypt was a nation where Moses went, talked to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, "What are you saying?" Moses was trying to do miracles. Pharaoh was replicating the same miracles Moses was doing. He was telling Moses, "What are you telling me? What technology are you showing me which I don't have?" But Egypt was advanced, but they did not know God. The fact that a nation is advanced doesn't mean that it knows God. A nation can be advanced by the help of God. Yes, true, but a nation also can be advanced without the help of God through other biblical means. I'm not trying to say anything bad concerning any country, but just the point is that Africa, the reason why we are going through deliverance, because God is delivering us from those strange gods. Our forefathers used to worship years and thousands and years ago, thousands and thousands of years. Deliverance is a process. Things which our forefathers worshipped thousands and thousands of years ago, you think that you can just wipe away by just say, "Hey, in Jesus' name, it's finished," and it's gone. Just like that. No. It will take time. It will take time. Yes, people are delivered. Yes, we have mighty men of God doing the work of God. Yes, I agree. But now, as a continent itself, we are going through deliverance. In South America, they are going through deliverance. And I also told you, places like in China, you see China is advanced, but there are many Chinese people who have heard the gospel. They are going for deliverance because they know the spirits which are tormenting them. The spirits of the strange gods in their lands which are tormenting them. They also need deliverance. Despite of their civilization, despite of their technological advancement, they still need deliverance. So that is the reason why we find most of us Africa seek deliverance. God is delivering us from the strange gods which our forefathers used to worship. And I'm not talking, it's not only from an individual level, but from a general perspective as Africa, as a continent. I also include South America. God is delivering us and God is transforming us. And once it's done, you will see Africa becoming one of the powerful nations on the face of the world. This is why you find we have problem also with our democracies. Why? Because it's still young. We are just, most of African nations are 50 years old, 50 to 60 years old since independence. You see, We are just emerging, we are just new nations. Europe has been there like years and years and years and years ago. The Roman Empire has been there since the time of Jesus. Imagine. You can't compare them with us. But God is helping us. God is helping us. Hello guys, I hope you are blessed. I love you and see you in the next video.